Ladies and gentlemen, um, Mr. the service commanders here, the deputy governor, service commander, the additional rulers, uh, President General who are here, the Commissioner for Homeland Affairs, Special Advisor on Security, and all the service commanders, um, security agencies, and representatives of the mayors. Here. I think the team here, I can say, just a few stakeholders in the security ecosystem that are here. And this is a kind of a press briefing, a short one at that. And, coincidentally, today, 17th of December, marks the 33rd month, 2 years and 9 months of our assumption of office. And the next week, Wednesday, will be Christmas. It's quite auspicious that we're having this session. Just a few statements about where we are and where we're heading to in terms of our security. And, the Anambra, I find it auspicious to address you today on security and related matters in our state, especially as we prepare for Christmas, celebrate Christmas next week. Security, law, and order remain pivotal to the attainment of our vision of a livable and prosperous homeland. I want to assure you that despite the unique challenges of lucrative criminality, adorned deceptive ideology and propaganda, we are determined to fight criminality and ensure that Anambra becomes the safest state in Nigeria. At the inception of our administration, we met almost a war situation with 8 local governments literally under the total control of the criminals. Candidates for the governorship could not campaign free, and one of them while en route to a campaign event and has not been seen till date. We responded massively when we came in, and among other things, Vigilante strike force and structure that work assiduously with the federal security agencies. I'm happy to report that we recover those 8 local governments under total siege. However, we've noted that with time, some of the criminal elements have returned to some of these locations, and there have been troubling reports of kidnapping for ransom have surfaced again, and there are instances where lives were lost or vehicles snatched and never returned again. As a government, we take every life as sacred and treat every case of kidnapping seriously. I want to assure the Anambra that we are ready to once again take them head on. But this time, we shall triple our efforts and expand the scope and depth of our operation, given the dynamic nature of the criminal enterprise. The details of the kinetic operation we are rolling out will not be discussed at this briefing. We will, after 2025, as basically after next month, launch our comprehensive security ecosystem, kinetic and non-kinetic agenda. We are convinced, personally, that brute force probably address maybe 50% of the challenge as first and necessary first step. But it must be complemented by a coterie of non-kinetic approaches that will, among other things, involve the mass mobilization of our people towards a society in which everyone has a stake. The various security agencies, the police, DSS, the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, Civil Defense, as well as our vigilante and other special forces, the NDLEA is here, are working day and night to secure our state. We are facing four major challenges which reinforce each other: kidnapping to armed robbery, cultism, drug epidemic, and touting. Add to these the resurgence of criminal idolatry, which offer the criminals a sense of invincibility and hence their daredevil brutal activity. Our security agencies are combating these crimes in some ways, but we will triple our efforts going forward. Anambra State Special Anti-Touting Squad, aka SASA, a body formed in October last year, is living up to its established mandate, which requires that they get out of the streets, transport, environment, and markets, and is on a stronghold mission on these touts and drug peddlers. They have picked over 3,000 of such criminals. We shall work with the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency to implement the National Drug Control Master Plan, which is a comprehensive framework for controlling drug-related issues across the country, towards developing a formidable strategy against drug-related crimes across the 21 local governments of Anambra State and all the communities in the state. Drug is an epidemic. Every nook and crannies, you see them selling, they're selling banana and granite. And when people take this, it's just, the now human beings look like flies to them. I have signed into law a number of relevant acts or laws that will facilitate prosecution of touts, drug dealers, and kidnappers. We have been testing these laws to ensure that they are effective. Criminal justice system met punishment to those who run foul of these laws by bringing them to court. In the light of the challenges before us, ladies and gentlemen, we have adopted a multifaceted approach to address them. Going forward, and like I said, next month, end of next month, we'll be launching this whole comprehensive approach, almost codenamed Operation Udogachi. Today is not the launch. On the day of the launch, we're going to roll out the vehicles. If you look by the side, you can see some of the vehicles that are here already. Udogachi translates to Operation Peace Shall Reign, or Peace Must Prevail in this land. An expression that underscores the envisaged end result of our security intervention. We are unveiling in the first instance about 1 vehicles that will be branded in Operation Udogachi insignia and equipment as a way of signaling to the Anambra that we are ready to fight and prevail over the security challenges. They will be active in all the nooks and crannies of the state with patrols as necessary and pin down, stop and search operations as also necessary. I know pin down, stop and search comes with it all manner of inconveniences. Ideally, you will say this is outdated in this day and age. But given the kind of criminality that we're facing, almost like a state of emergency, everything is thrown into the ring, and including this, at least for the time being. And so we ask those who might be delayed in traffic, that might be causing some traffic jam some places, and so on and so forth. We're also working with the security personnel to ensure that this doesn't turn into a matter for extortion, which is the usual complaint that people make about this stop and search infrastructure. They will be backed by technology-based security solutions such as the call center owned by the state with the toll-free line 5111. Toll lines 5111 is a security number that anybody can call anytime. Or 0800220008. Of course, these numbers will be out there in the media. You don't need to get them out through this press briefing, which will enable the relay of communication to air response to critical situations in the state. Another platform run by the Nigerian Communications Commission has the call line 112 for emergency communication. Operation Udogachi shall also be supported by the state's recently established independent communication network, which enables security personnel to communicate flawlessly using walkie-talkies. We need people in the communities to give information to security agencies. Where you feel information given will be used against you, relay such information through our phone line in the Anambra call center, and we'll assure you of the confidentiality of any of those calls, as the case may be. To strengthen our multimedia approach in security, AI-powered surveillance cameras with facial recognition and other features are being installed under the CCTV project of the state, which has kicked off in Onisha, with the aim of covering awka, Onisha, Newi, Ekulobia axis, being the four major cities in the state by March next year, someone in 3 months' time, under the first phase, and then onward to other communities, because our game plan will be to cover most parts of the state, and also targeting some of the major bushes and forests where these guys go to commit these atrocities. We are deepening the use of technology such that it is possible to track and trace criminals real time and apprehend them. We are in the process of assessing and revalidating personnel of Anambra Vigilante Group in the various communities to aid continuation of payment of monthly allowances to 20 vigilante personnel in each community. I've also given approval for training vigilante after validation. Forest guards are being trained from the vigilantes, forest, to use this opportunity, ladies and gentlemen, to extend a hand of friendship and amnesty to the hitherto kidnappers or cultists or drug dealers, category of criminals, to surrender themselves with their weapon. And my government will ensure that they are rehabilitated, empowered to become productive citizens. All persons wishing to take advantage of this window should register with the Office of the Security Advisor to the Governor. And this window will remain open until end of February next year. That's almost 2 months now. I want to thank citizens of Anambra State who have contributed to the State Security Trust Fund. I salute the courage of some clergy who have stood up to call out the systemic monster that is upon us. I want also to appreciate all those who devote their time, talent, and resources to the security of their various communities. I salute particularly those from Ihiala local government. Currently, we have 4 FOBs stationed in various locations in Ihiala local government. There are ongoing clearance operations, and we mean that the people of Ebonesia, for example, Osumohu, Lilu, Iseke, Mbos, and others, and indeed the entire Ihiala local government must be totally liberated from these criminals. Also have Orumba South in that same category. I think these 2 local governments will be having massive onslaught on them. But I want to commend the army, and the police, and the all those personnel, the SS and so on, civil defense, the Navy, so on, all your personnel, and our vigilante service, who are in those FOBs and working tirelessly jointly together to flush out the, from the places. I think we must be able to say, as a state, and working together with all our security agencies, that we need to get these places, we need to get these people out. I mean, we've offered them amnesty, we've offered them olive branch. Come out and we will help you to start afresh. Living in, no human being lives in the bush. No human being lives in a forest. It's just plain criminality because you're kidnapping for ransom. And Anambra will become totally unsafe for such activities as we unleash our forces on them. But we also, like you said, non-kinetic approaches will have a whole set of agenda. We will be unveiling those at the date of the launch of the full launch of our security ecosystem. Ladies and gentlemen, security is our collective responsibility. Government alone cannot do it. Federal security agencies alone cannot do it. Sustainable security in our homeland requires full-scale involvement of responsible citizenship. These criminals are our brothers, they are our sisters, they are our husbands, they are our relations, they are our friends. They are not spirits. They live among us, and we know them. The fact is, and let me say this on record, that I have been here, as I said, this is today, the 33rd month being in office. Those 33 months of all those that we have arrested, and we've arrested thousands of them, let me put on record that at least 99% of them, of these criminals, arrested in Anambra since my 33 months in office, are Igbos. And over 70% of them are not from Anambra State. They are not indigents of Anambra State. It's very important for us to say this. I am told that they flock to Anambra because that is where huge ransom money can be collected, whatever that means. We are fighting a different kind of organized armies of criminals, a kind that Anambra has never seen before. This is not, who just organize, they run away and so on. It's an army with commanders all over the place. You kill this commander, you kill this team, they get reinforcement. They get posted from even outside of Anambra to go back. Them out of Lille, they run to Mbos. You chase them at Mbos, they run to Iseke. You chase them from Agleze, they run to Oboji. You chase them at Oboji, they go to Werizuka. And so on. They just keep moving. Their commanders keep sending replenishment. So it's an organized army. This is not just like the usual kind of criminality that we're used to in the past. And it's important that our people understand the nature of the fight and for us to be able to prevail. It's a different kind, as I said. But we must all collectively confront the warped ideology and agitation that lead many among us, security personnel, as the enemy. Paradoxically, they see the criminals as the liberators. This is the nature of the fight, of the war that we are engulfed with, where the ordinary people, you see these Okada drivers, the person selling in the markets and so on. When they see the security personnel, they're the ones informing the criminals, oh, they are here, please take cover until they go, and so on and so forth. How are you going to win that war? How are you going to win? Police, the army, the personnel, maybe it's an indigenous of, it's come from maybe Ekiti State or Adamawa or Benue, or he has come from Abia and goes to your village. He doesn't know anybody there. Doesn't know anybody. It's only when you show him the criminal that he'll be able to apprehend him. But when you come there and there is this culture of silence, everybody keeps mute. In fact, when they arrive there to come to save you, to secure you, people even see them as the enemy and see these criminals in the bush as the liberators. That's a very complicated kind of fight against insecurity that we are getting. So we must collectively confront this warped ideology and the agitation that actually lead many among us to view security personnel as the enemy and criminals as the liberators. Message we want to carry on and carry to every nook and cranny of our society, because we're not going to fight this thing on a sustainable basis without this particular issue. And those who contribute food and money and send to the house in the bush, and we will begin to treat them as collaborators, as part of the criminal. Because we understand even in some communities, some people, including innocent women, they're contributing their farm produce and food to go and send to the criminals in the bushes, who will come out the next kidnap somebody for ransom. What a paradox. So I call on everyone, the town unions, and I can say the rest of town unions are here, the clergy, because the clergy in this part of the world, and particularly in Anambra, you could say 98% or thereabout are Christians here. The church has a very pivotal role to play in mobilizing the people, in helping to deconstruct the mental state of the people themselves. Because these people who go to the bushes, who go to those who are criminals, kidnappers, and so on and so forth, when you ask them their names, this one, what's your name? I'm Christian. It's Emmanuel. It's Joshua. It is Peter. It's Paul, and so on. They were all baptized Christians. And so, and they live in the society, they still go to church. At least some of them may probably still do. Or at least, if the criminals in the bushes who are now worshiping idols are not there, we must mobilize the people so that they don't have continuous supply from our congregation who are joining them every day, so to speak. And so that's why I call on everyone, like I said, the town unions, the clergy, the traditional rulers, and some of them are here as well, and the civil society organizations to join in deconstructing the dangerous narratives that legitimize this criminality. Very dangerous narrative that does that. Because what was sold as a facade, if you like, or that, the Fulani headsmen are coming to invade us. And so we are now the liberators. We are now the ones to liberate you and keep you safe. But nobody asked the question. These people who have now come and gone into the bush, how do they feed 1 week, 1 month, 1 year? How? Without getting into criminality. How? It's not possible. They must extort it, and they are carrying arms. This is the monster that we must confront as a people, so to speak. And so, I do say to you, in the Anambra, that for our long-term survival, we must rise up and fight together. If you see or know something, say something. Say something. We'll give out the numbers, the confidential numbers. It happened when we came in initially. We distributed some numbers, but only the DSS people around me had those numbers. And so when you called and gave us information, I had the information personally. We're going to, in addition to these ones that we've given out, we're going to even give out more numbers. And at that initial stage, when we called upon you, many people offered and volunteered information to us, and which were very, very helpful in taking out many of those commanders and daredevil criminals, and as the case may be. So please, if you know something, if you know somebody who is involved in enforcing sit at home in your community, tell us. We'll come and pick him out. If you know somebody who is part of this criminal thing, but he comes in the village and moves around, call 5111 and we'll give you other numbers and tell us. We will come and pick him out so that your people, your communities will have peace. On the part of government, we are prepared to put in everything to fight to fight, subject to our binding resource constraints. And I want to say, I have commended those of you those who have been contributing in various ways to our security trust fund, to those who are helping to fund security operations in their various communities, those who contribute their time, their money, their resources, their talent, and so on. We'll have a new special advisor on community security. And I think we'll also be working very closely, intensely with several communities and your vigilante service, and to really get them fit for purpose. And we get to this war. I have expressed, because yesterday I got a call from stakeholders of one community in Ihiala local government and saying, putting together resources and they're ready also to get to fight to rescue their communities. Because nobody will rescue any community in spite of the community. The people must own it. The people must take ownership of their communities and be determined that they want to rid their communities of criminals. Because if you allow the criminals to get into your community, stay in any bush or any part of your community, and this is a message we're going to carry to all the president generals and the traditional rulers. If you let any criminals take over any part of your domain, then they're not there. And that is, at least if they are coming, we assume if they are coming and you are not part of them, you should be the first to give information to security officers that here is where they are. And if you are really in charge of your community, there is no way, as a traditional ruler, as the president general, you will say you don't have information about who and who and who are behind this. It's not possible. It's just not possible. So we're going to be depending on the traditional rulers and the president generals, the leaders of the communities, to take ownership of their communities. Give us the information and we will come and take them out as day follows night. Otherwise, sooner or later, what we'll do, we've announced it before, but we've now, sending a bill to the House of Assembly. They codify that for those who keep kidnapped victims. As you know, once you keep kidnapped victims, that place becomes the property of government under the law. And we're going to apply that same law to those who allow their land to be used by these kidnapped kingpins. Because when they establish a camp in your land, then that becomes the place that they keep kidnapped victims. And we will take it as such. So if we come there and clear them, this clearance operation, the land becomes that of government. We'll take over the land, and it belongs to government. People must take ownership of their communities. So on our part, we'll do whatever is necessary and whatever subject to our resource constraint. But I must also use this opportunity to thank the federal government. I must express our gratitude to the federal government and all the various service commands, the Army, the Air Force, the DSS, the police, the Civil Defense, the Navy, the NDLE, several of the other military institutions that are working day and night to help us. I use the word help us in the Anambra because we're talking to ourselves. These we will say, on the one hand, yes, they are doing their job. But somebody is posted from here, he's from Benue, or he's from Adamawa, or he's from Ogun State, and so on, he's been posted to come here to help you, to keep us safe. They are the people who have come to help us to remain a safe and peaceful place for us to do our business. So we need to appreciate them. And I want to use this opportunity to appreciate our various commanders who are representing these various security agencies here, and extend our thanks to agencies. Several of them died. And on this moment as well, I want us to say, may the souls of all the gallant forces who have died on the line of duty come to make us, keep us safe, for us to walk the streets safe. But these criminals come and shoot somebody who has done absolutely nothing to you. The other day, even 2 days ago, there was a shootout in the army, and some of these hoodlums in Ihel, some wounded, they also carried their own their casualties, and so on and so forth. My heart bleeds when I see these young men all over dying like chicken. My heart bleeds, because for our people in the Anambra and the Igbos generally, for the Igbos, I said to you, we must confront this monster, because we are going back to the state where we were after the Civil War. After the Civil War, when there were many widows whose husbands died during the Civil War, or many young ladies of marriage age who couldn't find husbands because they would have born husbands, were killed during the Civil War. We are facing exactly the same kind of scenario now, where these young men just go and die needlessly. And that's why I'm calling on them, come out. We will help you rehabilitate and start a new life. And Commander, for the uncommon sacrifices just to walk the street. And I want to believe, by the special grace of God, the way we're rolling out with massive force, I think we shall, by the grace of God, we shall prevail. And I want to say to Ndi Anambra, Merry Christmas in advance, and we look forward to a very, very joyous Christmas season. We are doing everything to make sure that this season we are secured and that you can have your Christmas with joy and in safety. And then we look forward to a very happy and prosperous and secured 2025 and beyond. Thank you very much, and God bless you. God bless Anambra. God bless Nigeria. No, I don't want to. Maybe if there is anyone. Is there any
question?
That one? One or two?
Very well, sir. Okay, David.
No. Yes. Yes. David.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. Yes.
Okay. You just alluded to the fact that most of what is happening is organized criminality. But we can also wish away the fact that some of these people have hidden under the guise of being freedom fighters to operate. And most people have said that if the separatist leader that is being held, Mr. Nnamdi Kanu, is led today, some of these things we are witnessing may die down. And I want to ask, sir, I know that in time past you have been very vocal about the release of that young man. we may not know what you and your sister governors may be doing today of his release. Can we know, sir? My name is David Eleke. I work for this day newspaper. I'm also the managing editor of the Razor newspaper. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. I think it's very nice question and goes to the heart of it. But let me just say a few things. Yes, you are right. I have been at the forefront of the call for the release of Nnamdi Kanu. And part of the reason why I fervently called for his release and even requested that worst case scenario, that I was even prepared to keep him here at the government house. Give him to me, I will keep him here. And whenever he's required, I present him. And part of my logic was that we really need to sit down, even with him, to interrogate this whole agitation. Because, an idea not examined is not worth it. That we really need to have a conversation, even with him. But that's a separate conversation on itself. But then come down to the people saying that under the separatist, Nnamdi Kanu himself, both Nnamdi Kanu and IPOB, the organization that he led and still leads, they have made several statements, issued countless releases, dissociating themselves from the sit at home, from the kidnap for ransom, from the criminality that is ongoing. The truth of the matter is that criminals have now emerged, hordes of them, organized, still using the name. So I'm not quite even sure if he comes out and says, oh, stop, whether they would, because they have tested blood and they will probably not stop hunting. They have tested what it means. They go for kidnapping and they're making millions. And so they discover that. Imagine someone who was driving Okada, an Okada rider, and they recruit him and he goes into the bush. All his life, driving Okada, he has never been able to hold 100,000 naira intact at once. And now he goes into the bush and joins one gang and they do a successful kidnap for ransom and they collect millions. He gets $1 million or $2 million. Tomorrow you want him to, tomorrow you come out, in fact, the person who tells him to stop is the enemy. Are you getting what I'm saying? So the matter is a lot more complicated now. It's taking a life of its own. Criminality has taken a life of its own. It's lucrative business now. All of them talking about agitation, and so on. Just using that as a cover to gain, and this is the point I made a moment ago, to get the acquiescence or the sympathy of the ordinary person who is not informed. Because they present themselves as the liberators. Liberators, you are liberating, you are staying in the bush. How do you feed? How do you feed from month to month, from year to year? They are just criminals. And then they add to it idolatry. Every camp, everywhere they are, the very first thing they put there is a massive shrine. It's a massive shrine. In a state that is supposedly 98% Christian, you now have the resurgence of these shrines all over. Is building shrines all over the place part of the agitation? No. It's part of the agitation, arming everybody with amulets and everywhere, all their body. And they go out shooting ordinary people. Is it part of the agitation? It's part of the agitation, and the question must be asked. If anybody claims that part of why he's doing that is for agitation, When you finish killing the people you are agitating for, whom are you going to govern? Or if you turn the homeland to be desolate and everybody runs away from the homeland, how? So we must separate the two things clearly. And in my mind, I have clear separation of the two. Because Nnamdi Kanu himself has made a statement. I visited him in detention, and he said the same thing to me. So I'm not quoting anybody. He told me he doesn't support the sit at home and doesn't support the criminality that is going on by these people. And they have come out time and time again, dissociated themselves from that. There was one in Finland spewing all manner of hate and inciting people to get onto this. IPOB has also dissociated itself from that one as well, and his autopilot. And now, but you see, these guys are, I'm sure there will be maybe another 10 or 15 such other groups making money. It's what it is, lucrative criminality. Lucrative criminality. That's nothing to do with any agitation or liberating anybody from anything. They're just searching for their pockets, period. And we must get them out of our land. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, and God bless you.